Hey, hello everybody. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today I got a brand new guest for you guys. His name is Gary, the Rampage Reseller. How are you doing today, Gary?
How's it going, everybody? Good. We've been trying to mow through a lot of stuff here. The holidays are coming, and we need more space.
Yeah, right. It's Q4 now. Go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience. Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and tell them what it is that you do.
Um, all right. So my name's Gary. My wife recently went full time with me. Her name's Anna, and I started the channel as Rampage Reseller, and we sell a little bit of everything. I mean, as you can see, all the games. The original plan before COVID hit, we were going to open a game store. We're in Central Arizona. We were going to open a store up in Mesa. 2 days before we signed the paperwork, they shut everything down completely. Everything shut down. I had display cases in the building, everything. It was just a matter of signing the papers. So it's a good thing we didn't. But once we moved out here, it's more rural, and I just decided let's just go ahead and sell online. I didn't want to make the hour drive to my horrible job anymore. So April 28th was it, and I've been home ever since, selling, trying to get into the YouTube thing and trying to grow that way and show people kind of what we do and like how to build our storage shelves and how to do things cheap for people that think, oh, well, you got to do everything like top dollar right off the bat. No, here's ways that you can do things that are functional that will get you through until you can afford more storage or a bigger spot or whatever.
Yeah. So, kind of talk to me a little bit about how that works. So, how did you go to transition from leaving your full time job to becoming a full time reseller? So, how did that happen?
All right. So right when all the COVID stuff started, I've sold off and on through the years, like pretty much
Yeah.
I think what since like '05. I would go buy Hot Wheels. I'd go at like midnight to Walmart when they were still open at midnight, and I would con the people into letting me open the Hot Wheel cases. And I was like, I'll stock the shelves if I can dig through them first. And I would pull them, and I would just sell a few treasure hunts on eBay just for extra car money to go out, go racing for more car parts. So it's just kind of been a back burner thing, and I've always had a full time job. Um, I before I moved out here to Arizona, I did a lot of going to the scrapyard and buying things by the pound. Where I was at in Missouri and Arkansas, there were a lot of like aluminum hard hats and stuff like that, and I was buying them for like 45 cents, 50 cents a piece, and selling them for like $45. And I would just clean them up a little bit and take pictures on my truck at the junkyard. And I would do everything right there, and then go pay it all out, and go home and ship them out. Um, but right when COVID hit, our boss said, "Hey, I'm not gonna be paying you guys anything. You can't use your vacation time, anything." Which I know is not the case of how it was supposed to work. So we
Well,
both ended
did
up
you get
getting
did
sick.
you get like any unemployment checks or anything like that
Nothing.
while you were laid off?
Nothing. No, he denied everything. He was in the middle of selling the place off, so he was trying to pocket every penny. So we made it through that, and we were down to. My wife got to go back to work. She worked at a grocery store, and so she got to go back. But we're talking like a couple days before she went back, we were down to our last $20. That was it. And I told her, because everything was supposed to be closed, I said, let's go try to find a couple yard sales, and let's try. I know we can make this work. Let's try. So we went and we found a couple items. I don't even remember what they were. And we ended up finishing our first year out. That was $20. And we finished out, I think, around 23,000 for our gross. I don't remember what the net was off the top of my head. But I started doing it in my job. I really didn't like it. I didn't like the owner because of all that stuff. So my thing
Yeah.
was, if I wake up in the morning and I have one sale, that will get me through my 8 to 10 hours at work. That's enough to push me. Okay, this is still working. It's still going. And we ended up just doing that. We bought a house down here about an hour away from where we used to live, and I stayed long enough to get all of our stuff. It was a 26-foot box truck of video games, and my main toolbox is from home because I was a heavy equipment mechanic forever.
Yeah.
And it was the 26 foot of that and a little bit of clothes in her car. That was our first load here. And then she transferred, and I was making the drive every day. So 37 days, because it was 37 truckloads. I'd go home at lunch and load another load. I was like, as much as I can fit, that's one less day I have to work here. And the 37th day, that was it. I went in with some extra 18-gallon tubs, and they knew I was going to quit anyway. And I just poured my toolbox drawers into the tubs, and I put them in the back of the truck with the forklift. I left the other toolbox there. I didn't want to bring it with me, and that was it. And I've been home doing this ever since, trying to get videos out. You're good with the time management. I've watched the videos and how you talk about you got to have all these times. We're still trying to iron everything out with the kids going to school. And I was trying to edit a video last night. I look, it's like 1 a.m. It's like, I got to go to bed. I got to get up at 5 to get the kids ready.
Well, Gary, it's one of those things, man. To be honest, I don't spend a lot of time editing videos. We just press the button, and whatever happens, happens. Because you have to understand, man. When you're making YouTube videos, no one's going to go back and watch your videos from 6 months ago or a year ago. They're just going to look at what you've done this week or the past 2 weeks. So just crank out some videos. That doesn't have to be perfect. The lighting doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything scripted. Just be yourself and just do what comes natural. And as you do it, it's going to get easier. You know, because even if you get your 1,000 subscribers, you still have to get your 4,000 hours of watch time. So, just do it gradually when you can, because, right now, if you put out a video, you're going to make zero in AdSense versus if you cranked out 20 listings on eBay, you'd be able to make sales. So you want to go where, they told me when I used to work a corporate job, they said, Jeff, make hay while the sun is shining, so where the sun is shining, that's when you got to make hay, Let me say hello to a few people here in the chat. I wanted to say hey to Drake County Picker is here in the chat. I wanted to give him a shout out. Mike is here from Pittsburgh. I wanted to say hey to the Hollywood Reseller is here. And ATL Flipper is here in the chat. Hey, man, I hope you're doing well today. And we have a couple questions in the chat. Mike wants to know, is Gary mainly an eBay seller?
Pretty much all eBay. I do have a Bonanza account, so everything is linked from eBay to Bonanza. Every once in a while I get a sale, and to me, a sale is a sale, especially when I have to do nothing. I made the account. It took me 5-10 minutes, and it links straight to the eBay, and it pulls my listing off of eBay. So there's nothing else I have to do except ship it out and let them know it's shipped. We did start Mercari a few weeks ago. I'm not a big fan. I don't like that I can, let's say this hat, I can only list one hat. That's it. Some of these, like you said, I think was it yesterday, a couple days ago, I have 600 DVDs. So I haven't, that kind of bothers me of, okay, I sold a hat, like today I sold 2 hats. Now I have to go list 2 more of the exact same hat.
Yeah, well, it's just, it's just like anything else. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And so it took me years to figure these shortcuts out. I didn't have like some, instruction handbook of somebody telling me how to do this. I just watch YouTube videos and learn tips and tricks from other people and do it from experience. And I mean, if you have a multi-quantity unit, and let's say you can crank out a listing and you have put quantity in the heading and say, okay, I've got 600 of this one item, and that one item sells over and over and over again 600 times versus you sitting here, boop, and it's like an assembly line and you're trying to scan in 600 individual SKUs. And so, like, if you were going to try to, let's say the item may only sell for $20, but $20 times 600 items is still $12,000. And even if you take out your cost of goods and your eBay fees and all that, you're probably still going to net 10,000 profit on maybe 5 minutes worth of work. And because you don't have to do a lot of cleaning, you don't have to do a lot of testing. As soon as the item sells, you just pick it up, drop it in a 6x9 padded envelope, and ship it out. So, anyways, let's catch up with the chat here. Hollywood Reseller is here. Says, hey, everybody. ATL Flipper is here. Hollywood Reseller says, what type of items do you sell? So do you want to talk a little bit about that? You sell a lot of video games, but you've been getting lots of merchandise that you said you got for free lately. So talk to us a little bit about what your sourcing strategy is and some of the items that you sell on your store.
So right now, really, I want to get the death piles down. We have a lot. And the only reason that we have built up, besides the games, but that was to open a store, besides that, the actual death piles, we use the freebie app. I have Nextdoor app just to keep an eye on what's going on around here. But randomly, even today, there was an ad, and it was everything free. Just come pick it up. And it's kind of hard, especially where we're at now. There's not many people. It's kind of hard not to just hop in the truck and go over there. and at least pick through and grab some good stuff and come back, because it is free. So at that point, it's all profit except my couple bucks in gas at worst case, $2-3 in gas to go across town. So right now we're just trying to get through that, but we've got everything. I'm looking at a set of golf clubs here. I've got more games just hanging out. There's just stuff everywhere. So a little bit of everything.
Right.
I want to expand, and like I've got shoes and boots. I don't usually do clothes, but I have that. I've got some Snap-on stuff to do that I've had. It's just a matter of digging our way out of the death piles, because I would like to get my truck back in the garage at some point, and from there get the shed cleaned out and have an actual work spot for other things.
So Gary, can you give people drop some knowledge on our audience? How do they get free stuff to resell online? Because what I've done in the past, if you guys go look like on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon after all the yard sales and estate sales are over, there will be a free section on Craigslist, and you can click on that free section on Craigslist. And a lot of times they'll just have a bunch of stuff that's just they kind of put out to the street curb, and then you can just come pick it up. But what's been your experience since you've been because this is your full-time gig, so what's been your experience since you've been a full-time reseller as far as getting free merchandise to resell online?
So since we moved down here, it's been a little bit different. It's mostly been using the Nextdoor app and the freebie, I think it's called freebie alerts. And I mean, everything on there is free. So it's just a matter of finding stuff decently close to you and being on top of it. And since we're both doing this full time, that helps. So one of us will be listing and it'll pop down on the phone and just be on top of it. You never know what they're going to have for free. We've cleaned out some pretty big places, and it was all, antiques. We've pulled coins and jewelry out for free. You just never know, because people are cleaning these old houses out, especially now with the way the housing is, and people are selling their house completely full. Like we bought this house, it was furnished. And as we're walking through the house, I'm like, we don't want that. We're going to sell this. We're going to sell that. Same thing with everybody else around here, just cleaning out the old stuff that was there. But when we lived up like in Mesa and Phoenix, where there's millions of people, still the freebie app, I would hand out cards. I've got cards for video game. We buy video games, but I'd still hand them out. If you guys don't want to deal with this after the sale, let us know. We'll come pick it up and donate part of it off, and we can use part of it, to sell or whatever. And a lot of like citywide cleanups. We'd be out doing yard sales and notice that everybody is just piling stuff by the street, and we'd stop and ask and take whatever you want. And we've pulled like a lot of video game consoles and other stuff out that they just don't think anyone wants. They don't want to deal with selling stuff. Don't want to deal with the people. So just put it by the street and let the city pick it up.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Also, if you guys look on Facebook Marketplace or just on Facebook, they also have stuff listed there where maybe they had stuff left over from a yard sale and they don't want to take it back into their house. And they'll just post it online, and they'll say, hey, free curb alert, come by and pick the stuff up. And sometimes the stuff is junk and sometimes the stuff is good. You just don't know till you get there and kind of pick through it. But you know, there's a saying that say, if it's free, it's for me. So if you can get some free merchandise to resell online, you might as well swing by there and check it out and see what it's all about. Especially if it's on a weekend or you got nothing going on, right? You have no money tied up in the merchandise. So let's say hello to Drake, County Picker is here. Says, I watch my videos, Gary. I just shoot and go. I wanted to say hey to Harry Lou. Says 37 loads, made 4. I was exhausted. I wanted to say hey to the ATL Flipper is here. Mike says, how many items do you currently have listed on eBay, and what is your goal for the future?
So now that my wife went full time, we actually have like a whiteboard set up with an actual goal. It's just whatever we can get done today in between everything else. So right now our goal is 25 a day, 7 days a week. So that puts us at, I believe, around 700 a month. Listed right now, she's actually on the other side of the wall here in her office listing. We should be right around 600 items.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're just getting started from transitioning from working your full-time job, working your corporate job to kind of being a full-time reseller. And it's just like there's a learning curve, bro. There's just like everything else. There's learning curve. But like I said, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. Let me say hello real quick to the Flippin' Sports Guy is here. I wanted to give a shout out to my buddy Dustin is here, the Flippin' Accountant. If you guys didn't get a chance, go check out his latest video. He just scored a ton of video games on clearance. I wanted to say hey to Philly Picker is here. He says, "What's up, Jeff, Gary, and everybody?" And I wanted to say hey to Zero is here, flipping it good, and ATL Flipper is here. Hey guys, I just wanted to make an announcement real quick. I have a new show starting this weekend on Saturday. It's going to be called the Resellers Roundtable. So every week on a Saturday, I'm going to probably have like 3 or 4 other resellers, and we're going to just jump on and just talk about, hey, what's working for you in your business, what's not working, what are you having issues with, for fourth quarter, are you having issues sourcing, shipping, all this stuff. So anybody wants to jump on, send me a message on Instagram, and every week I'm going to have a new panel of resellers, and it's just going to be sitting back, chilled, and relaxed and laid back. And we're just going to jump on and talk about reselling and what's working for you, what's not, kind of hold each other accountable, give yourself goals, helping push each other to get listings done, things like that. So if you're interested in jumping on to being part of the new show on Saturday, it's going to be called the Reseller Roundtable. So I don't have any guests lined up yet. So if you guys want to jump on to be on episode 1, hit me up on Instagram. So we have a question from the ATL Flipper. He says, what is your biggest flip so far?
Since I went full-time here at the house, we picked up a Tesla golf bag at some we went to go get free parts. There was someone swapped the whole front end of their Jeep out. You know how it is. They buy a new one. Let's make it look cool. So all the factory parts were free. So I went and grabbed the grill, the bumper, everything. We have sold the grill off, but we were waiting for him to show up, and there was a tiny thrift shop like in the middle of nowhere, and we stopped in. They had a brand new in plastic Tesla brand golf bag for $80. Since it was our first visit, they gave us 10% off. We got it for $72, and I sold that thing for $525. So that was a good one. And then a week later, I sold a PS2 game with the soundtrack called Rule of Rose. If you ever find it, big time money. That went for $750, and I had it listed for about an hour. So it just depends. Right now, I've got a game on called Panzer Dragoon Saga. So there's what the art looks like. If you ever see one out, grab it. Like if your life depends on it. Complete in box that goes for around $1,100 to $1,300. So mine is the 4 discs and the manual only, and I've got it, I think, for like $930 right now. Okay,
cool. We have a question in the chat from Harry. Says, where do you get your shipping boxes and package material? Well, I'll tell you, me personally, 9 times out of 10, when I sell an item, they just fit in these 6x9 padded envelopes. So I just use my shipping eBay coupon code that eBay gives you every 3 months and once a quarter. They give you this little shipping coupon code that you can use, and you can use this coupon code to get shipping supplies online on the website every quarter. So I mainly use that, and then I have some other bigger padded envelopes that I use for the items that are a little bit bigger than the 6x9. Do you have any recommendations for shipping supplies, Gary?
I've got the eBay store also, so I did get the little poly mailers you're talking about, and then this last time, because I had a ton of hats and I was trying to find hat boxes in town. There's no stores here. I got what are they, like a 6x8x4 box. I YouTubed that to see who had what's the best size for shipping a hat, and I ordered those. Other than that, because of all of the people moving in out here and all the new construction, my wife actually cut me off. She's like, no more shipping supplies. We hauled 2 like full loaded truckloads of packing paper and boxes home like 3 weeks ago. So for us, we just check that freebie app and the Nextdoor app and look for people, all the time. I've probably had 10, 12 of them today, free packing material, and we'll just drive across town or whatever and pick it up. So we just we have the space, so we try to keep a big chunk of that, because you never know when you're going to run out.
Yeah.
I got money, I can find more, and then there is none.
Yeah, it's best if you go online and buy it in bulk, because you get a discount. But if you're in a bind and you need something like right then and there, you could always go to the Dollar Tree. I've went there in a pinch and got some tape or some bubble mailers, or go run to Walmart if it's a pinch. Because you got to think, it's like you're shipping out a $50 item, and what's 99 cents or whatever to get a padded envelope. Just get the envelope and ship it out. But I've been there before where it's like, man, you just lost track of time, and you just were like, man, I just I can't find my packing envelopes, and so you just ran out. So you just have to go to the store and grab them. But if you can go online, also I think if you go on Amazon, you can probably get a pretty good cheap deal if you just bought stuff in bulk, whether it's cardboard boxes, or maybe I mean like the tape gun, the packing materials, padded envelopes. If you buy stuff in bulk, it goes pretty good. Zero is saying Walmart have good sized boxes, really cheap, 50 cents to $1. I use them if I need different sizes. Other than that, get free boxes from the post office. Yeah, that's good advice. I wanted to say hey to Roman, Anytime Picker is here in the chat, and Drake County Picker. So, hey, I wanted to get into this. I wanted to pick your brain because you seem to be really knowledgeable about video games. So tell us a little bit about what we need to look for, because, guys, there's some of these video games that are like discontinued right now, especially ones that are new in the plastic. People are sending these things in and getting them graded, just like people get, baseball cards or basketball cards graded. And some of these things go for big dollars. So kind of give us an idea of what we need to look out for, because obviously if you see stuff that's new in the shrink wrap, that's going to sell for a premium. But is there anything else in particular that we need to look out for? Because some of these older games, maybe, PS2 games, PS3, N64 video games that they discontinued 20 years ago, some of that stuff is really valuable. So can you kind of talk to us a little bit about that?
Let's start with I mean your Marios and all that, Mario, Zelda, those all hold value. But the way that I've done this, and I've worked at game stores before, like vintage game stores, and it was in a college town, so I kind of followed the trend. And after I quit, I just kept up with that. So the way that it works, and when I worked there, N64 was like everybody would come in on a weekend. They're having a party. Hey, man, you remember playing Smash Bros. Or whatever? They'd come in and put all their money together and buy a 64, 4 controllers, all the good games they'd buy. So It's a matter pretty much of who is in college right now are reliving the games that they had when they were kids, because they're all hanging out together. And that's, to me, part of what's driving the price of the used games up. Now, the sealed stuff, that's a whole different thing once they get graded and all that. I have like a huge case. I just haven't had time to get it out to send anything in for grading. But follow that trend of who's in college and what system was that. So we went through that. We had GameCube go up when COVID started. PS2 went up. Some Xbox games went up. And the next thing coming up is going to be PS3 and 360. So
yeah,
those
the
games
Nintendo Wii's were selling like crazy during the lockdown as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sometimes accessories sell really well. I'm just saying, in case you guys are out somewhere, because I have a couple of pawn shops here in town, and anything that's like PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii, they'll just sell them to you for $1 a piece, no matter what it is. So if you go through there and take time to scan the barcodes, or you just go through there and you just know in your head, like, hey, I know, like, for example, NFL head coach for the PS3, that game sells for $30 all day long. So I just know because I've sold it before. So if you guys are out and you're out hunting about and you see a good deal on some items, just go by and check them out. I got a whole stack of Nintendo Wii games from the thrift store the other day for 50 cents a piece. But especially some of these older discontinued games that they don't make anymore. So it's not like the N64 games and Nintendo Wii PS2 games, all of them that are in existence, that's all there's going to be. They're not going to go back and suddenly restock and start remaking them again,
Yep. Also, any old boxes, anything, even if it's just the box only at a yard sale, grab it. A lot of the time they will give you, like, all the disc stuff. Even Goodwill most of the time will give you those boxes for free. And I sell a lot of box only, or if it's something that is rare, I'll just hold on to that box and look through my stacks of CDs. If I don't have it, then I'll let it go. I've got a Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi 3 back here. It's just the case. The case goes for $80. I got it for free at a yard sale. It was thrown in with some other stuff. It's like $150 game right now, complete. So you never know. Always, if you're going through the cases at Goodwill and they're empty, take them to the counter and be like, hey, just letting you know someone stole the disc out of these. What are you guys going to do with the cases? And a lot of the time they go, you know what? Just take it because we're going to throw it away. Just tell them I could use these for other games, and they'll just usually hand them over or give them to you for 25 cents a piece or something.
Yeah. Also, I was going to say, if you guys see these strategy guide books, not necessarily the manual, but if you see these like They're like, you know, at Walmart, they used to carry these big strategy guide books like this big, and it looked like an encyclopedia. Yeah, it's like a big old strategy guide book. If you guys see some of these strategy guide books, there are some gamers that can't live without these strategy guide books. And some of these strategy guide books, you can pick them up for pennies on the dollar if you're just out somewhere at a yard sale or a thrift store. And sometimes they'll be like in the book section somewhere. And if you happen to see some of these like strategy guide books, it could be Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever. Yeah. But if you see some of these strategy guide books and you see them for 50 cents, $1, 75 cents, you know, just pick them up because they sell really well as well. Let me give a shout out to my buddy Cali Reseller Louise is in the chat. Anytime Picker is here. Zero says PS1 games are really hot right now. I sold a bunch for $40 plus. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. I wanted to say hey to Anytime Picker, and the Flippin' Sports Guy is here. If you guys have questions for guests, drop it in the chat. Hollywood Reseller says, are there certain items that you stay away from? So do you have any certain items that you try to stay away from, that you try to pass over and say, nope, not for me?
As far as anything in general, like women's clothes. My wife is learning more about that stuff and what's good and what's not. But there's been times where I'm like, this thing's new with tags. It'll be a pair of pants. I'm like, there's so many measurements and what design. It's like, I'm out. I'll just back here. I'll let you do that one and I'll get back to other stuff. That's probably the worst. And golf clubs. I really want to get into that because I know there's money into it. I've got 3 here that I listed for, I think like $40. I paid $5 for the cart with the bag and the whole set. They wanted to finish up the sale, but I was like, it's $5. There's got to be something there worth $5. That's something I want to learn about. But probably the worst thing is like women's clothes is the worst thing for me to avoid.
I'm with you. I just try to stay away from anything that's like glass or breakable or ceramic stuff that I think is going to get destroyed in shipping. And then I try to stay away from a lot of these clothing and stuff like that. Well, some of these used clothing, I used to sell like blue jeans in the past, like Levi's blue jeans and stuff, but they kept raising the cost of goods and they kept raising the shipping. And it's kind of like your profit margins start gradually shrinking and you're like, what are you doing here? You know, when you could go buy a pair of Levi's blue jeans for $1 or $2 and sell them for $20, $25, $30, there's margin. But if they want to charge you $5, $6, $7, and then shipping prices keep going up and you're just like, okay, my margins are shrinking here. You know, it's kind of like, it's not really worth your time at this point. Hey, I wanted to give a shout out to my buddy here, Kevin Vasquez Reyes. He's close to 1,000 subscribers, guys. So if you get a chance, go by and check him out. I wanted to say hey to DJ CMB, says, I have Final Fight game for a Sega CD in great condition. I've seen it on eBay, sold for $139. What would be a realistic price? By the way, what's up, Gary? I mean, you know, you look at the sold comps on eBay. If you look at the sold comps on eBay and you've seen 3 that's in the same condition, that's all sold in the past 90 days for that price range, there you go. It's like you have 3 comparable comps to go by. It's not like you're just, you know, doing it with a blindfold on. You have all the information right in front of you, you know?
Yeah, if you hit sold and it's marked green, that's going to be what it's worth. I always call it the street value. I don't know. That's what we always called it when I worked at the old game stores. But just go off of the last few. I think it shows 90 days worth. But I go off of like the last couple weeks of sales, and sometimes you'll see that something's out of trend and it'll drop down. I have enough here that I just hold on to the stuff and hopefully it'll trend back up again. If I get tired of looking at it, it goes ahead and goes.
If you're seeing it sell for $139 used, you know, what I would do is I would just go ahead and list it for $139 and then take photos of all the front, back, inside, take photos of the disc, that way you show it's all in good condition, and list it for $139.99 or best offer. And anything that's lower than $100 or lower than 120, I would just set mine up for auto decline so you're not getting hit with a bunch of, you know, low ball offers. So if someone's not going to offer you at least $100 for him, you know that they're not serious about it. So I wanted to give a shout out to Miss Gail is here in the chat. ATL Flipper says, hey, should I hold or list my Wii systems now?
It just depends. I know GameCube is through the roof, and some of the Wii games are through the roof too. I've thought about it. The last one that I sold was in the box, And I think I got like 120 out of it, but it had just came off of a high point when I noticed it and listed it. So, because when I listed mine, there were other ones selling for like 160.
Yeah, well, my advice with you guys is that we're in Q4 right now, and a lot of these items, especially video games and video game systems, are spiked around the holidays, and especially with this computer chip shortage and shortages in a lot of these stores, people can't find merchandise that they're looking for. So I would just go ahead and list it, and you can list it high, and then just put or best offers. And if people don't give you an offer you like, then don't take their offer. Just hang on to it, because we're in Q4 right now, guys. So we're already in November. So I mean, we just had Halloween. We're gonna have Thanksgiving, and right after that's gonna be Christmas. So if you have any type of electronics or video games or video game consoles, just get it listed. And then if somebody doesn't give you what you want for it, just decline their offer and hang on to it, because it's gonna sell. And also, I would maybe do promoted listings as well to make your item kind of stand out a little bit, because there may be 200 other people that are all selling the same exact Wii system as you. So how are you going to stand out from everybody else if you're further down on the list? So let's see. I wanted to say hey to the Flippin' Sports guy. Here we go. I wanted to say hey to Infinite Flip. Hey man, I hope you're doing well. I was just thinking about you today. I hope you're having a good day. Harry Lou says, how do you keep track of all of your inventory that you have in the garage and the shed? So before we went live earlier, you said that you have like 3 outbuildings full of merchandise. So talk to us a little bit about your back stock or your death pile. Tell us a little bit about that. The good, the bad, everything that comes with it, you know.
Dude, it's stressful just you saying that. So honestly, I couldn't tell you. When I try to keep everything in the 18-gallon tubs because it gets so dusty down here, especially where we're out of the city. So when the dust storms come, it's nuts. So like I'll open a case and be like, oh damn, I didn't even know I had this stuff, because there's so much to go through. But what I'll do is we finish out a tub, or we'll have an extra empty tub. And as we do it, that's another letter of the alphabet. We're already into the double letters. And then once that tub is done, that gets inventoried on the shelf in the garage or in a shed. And that's done. That's ready to go. So when it does sell, we can go on there where it says custom SKU and be like, okay, letter R, it's in this tub, and go out there. I don't really have like a rhyme or reason. Tub C is not all baseball hats. It might be games and, you know, bagged up car parts so nothing gets funky smell or whatever. Everything until that tub is full, that's what's in that tub, whatever it is. And then once we get so far, we notice the tubs are feeling kind of light, we'll pull those off the shelf and refill them up with new inventory. But as far as what's out there, I couldn't even tell you. There was a lot of stuff, and since we've been doing these clean outs, like part of our living room now, right now we have a wall of boxes that we're trying to get through.
So Gary, I wanted to ask you, I got to put you, if you've been in my show before, you know I got to put you on the spot. That's how this works. So tell me a little bit about what your plan is in the future. Like, you know, because you officially quit your full-time job. You said sayonara. You put your notice in. You're done. You're not going back. What do you see yourself in the next 3, 4, 5 years from now? Like if I came to you, if I had a crystal ball and I said, all right, Gary, where do you see yourself in the next 3, 4, 5 years from now? Being a full-time reseller, because both you and your wife are both full-time resellers. So where do you guys see yourself? I mean, do you have a certain number of items that you would like to get listed? Do you have a certain dollar amount of value of merchandise that you want to get sold? And also you mentioned something about, you know, having a brick and mortar store. Is that still a possibility in the future, or do you just want to work from home? Like what would be your ideal plans that you would like to do in the future?
After just being not going somewhere to work this long and kind of being in control of what's going on, like taking the time to come talk to you, I don't really want to have a brick and mortar because I'm stuck. So for me, I would be stuck. We've talked about it a little bit. We're actually looking at a spot for her in town to be able to like run a little bakery, and the building's I think around 800 square foot. So we'd have like a bakery side on one side, and then the other side, our idea was to have like an antique store where people actually pay for booth spaces, and then I can still have a spot. And if I need to, I can go down there. I can list from there. I can have our own little section set up too, but that would help offset the cost of the rent of the building. That is what we're working towards right now. So Other than that, it's just to list as much as we can, make as much as we can, and pay off all the debt. And then
I'm with
see
you as
what we
far as
do
that
after
goes.
that.
Paying off debt is super important, but I need to pick your brain for a second, real quick. Do you live in a small town, medium, or is it a big size town? Because one issue you're going to have right now with brick and mortar stores is foot traffic. Where online, you have millions of people that are coming and going, buying stuff all the time online. Whereas a brick and mortar location, you have to depend on foot traffic of people physically stopping in at your store, and you have to give them a reason to get up, get dressed, go out in the pouring down rain or the freezing cold weather or 100-degree heat to get up to drive to go to your coffee shop or bakery. So you have to give them a reason to go there. And you're kind of competing. If you have a bakery shop, you're competing with all the other bakeries and Walmarts in your town. I'm just kind of curious, how big of a population do you have in your city? Like, how many people would you say reside in the city where you live in?
So where we're at, it's mostly a retirement town, like a snowbird place. For people who don't know what that is, that's people that have a house like in Michigan and it's paid off, and they have a house in Arizona. So when it gets cold in one place, they go to the other place and try to keep their climates the same. But as far as where we're at, there's around, I think, 10,000 people here. So when the snowbirds all go back this summer, there'll be about 4,000 people in town. The good thing is that the space that we're looking at getting is they're all in the same building. The post office and the only grocery store in town are on each side, and this shop that we're looking at is sandwiched in between them in the same structure. So they kind of have to go to one or the other every day. You got to go hit the post office or you got to go to the grocery store. And since it's an unincorporated town, there is no postal delivery here. So you actually physically every day have to go over there and pick it up. So yeah, like for shipping for us is kind of nuts because we don't have a FedEx, we don't have a UPS. I have to drive to the next town over if bigger things sell.
How much would they charge you rent to rent that place?
He was willing to work with us like on a 3-month thing and ramp it up. I think he was going to start around $500 a month, and then I think the rent was going to be around $800 or $900 a month.
Okay, I'm not trying to rain on your parade, but I just want you to think about everything before you sign that lease, because not only do you have to pay for the rent or the building, you have maybe water or electric, but there's also stuff they don't tell you about, like having insurance in case someone breaks into the building or someone walks in and slips and falls on some water or something. You have to have insurance to cover yourself just in case somebody slips and falls and hurts themselves, or you have a break-in or whatever it is, just like you have renter's insurance or you have car insurance. So I'm not trying to, I just want you to think about everything logically before you go in there and just say, oh, here's the building, let me hurry up and sign it. And then 6 months later, be stuck into a lease. So
it's been a work in progress. We're still trying to get everything lined out and make sure, iron it out first. But
yeah, well, I'll be happy for you when you do it, man. You'll be able to make some good content out of that. And also, your wife will be happy and you guys would have something else to do. You wouldn't have to be stuck in the house all the time. And so far it sounds good on paper. I just don't want you to rush into something without thinking everything through. So talk to me a little bit about what are some of your favorite sourcing spots. I know right now you have enough inventory to go and list right now, but if you need to go get inventory, what's some of the places that you guys hit up? Do you guys have like flea markets, yard sales, thrift stores? Do you do retail arbitrage? Where are some of the places that you usually go sourcing at?
We're in a group on Instagram that Hollywood Reseller started, like a little reseller chat group, and I've been following the resale arbitrage on there. We did clean up because nobody's out here and the next Walmart's like 20 minutes away. So we did clean up on some like Gabby doll houses from that Netflix show. We bought all of them and flipped them over a weekend. But other than that, I don't really do the resale arbitrage. Usually I get stuck with stuff. I go, oh, it's on clearance. This is a good buy. It'll resell. People are selling it. I list it. And then by the time I get it listed, nothing moves. So mostly it's been estate sales. Around here, there's a sale every week. There's always people having sales moving in or out. Sometimes if we feel like it, we get up early and we drive the hour drive and go back up to the valley. And when they have community sales, especially like gated communities on golf courses, that's where we like to go because those people are all retired and they just want the stuff out of their house, and it is all older stuff. Last time we went, we did really good. We don't scrap the sterling, but we ended up pulling for $11. We pulled over, I think it was around 14 ounces of sterling that day. So you never know. We went and it was like costume jewelry, and I started finding that 925, and I asked the guy, how much is this stuff? He goes, $1 a piece. I went, all right. So he had some Ziploc bags, and I just pulled all the sterling, threw it in a bag, and went up there. And how much for everything here? He cut me a deal. It was like $8. So between all the sales, it was $11 for like 13, 14 ounces, which is good. It's just a matter of.
If you can get into some of these retirement places or community sales or church sales specifically, if you guys see some of these church sales, I would go by and check them out. You can get some really good deals there. And also, you said you have a lot of snowbirds that live there. So people that are constantly moving in and out, and they're like, hey, I accumulated a lot of this stuff. I can't take it with me when I'm moving back to my regular house. So, I mean, that kind of plays your advantage if you just get out there and hunt for merchandise, right?
Yeah. I don't find many games out here because everyone here is older than that. They grew up without video games. So unless I luck out and they're hauling their kids or grandkids stuff around, we usually don't find games out here, but I've got enough inventory to keep me going with that. One guy that moved in around the corner was a mechanic in the 80s. And he goes, I never wore a hat, but I collected every hat that came in. I just put them in boxes. I liked them. Yeah. So I bought some hats off of him for 50 cents a piece, and some of those hats went for a couple $100.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for him to have. He said that they're still moving stuff from California, and he's got more. So I'm waiting. I'm chomping at the bit. Like, come on! I'm waiting for that yard sale sign to go up so I can go buy the rest.
Right.
But
for
you
sure.
never know what's worth money out there.
Yeah, if you can get some hats for 50 cents a piece, you can't go wrong on them. I mean, not all of them are going to be high ticket items, but I mean, when you're getting stuff in bulk and when you're getting items literally 50 cents a piece, you're going to make your money back on that deal. Let me give a shout out real quick to Anytime Picker. Ebliss Reseller Solutions is here. Says, hey, Jeff and Gary, happy to catch you live. Hey, thanks for coming by and hanging out with us today. We appreciate you. Philly Flipper is here. Says Gary makes the best banana bread. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if he's slandering you or is that true?
Oh no, 100%. So I went on one of his lives one morning or afternoon, and he was talking to some other people, and bacon got brought up and banana bread got brought up, and my wife was getting ready for an event, so the oven had been going all day. I was like, actually, my wife's making some right now. Here's the flavors that we make, and he was like, send some out, and I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So we baked some fresh, let it cool off, wrapped it up, and prioritied that stuff all the way across the country to him.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to give a shout out to Amy's Epic Stuff for sales. That's Hello Reselling Family and Friends. Watching on my way home from work. Hey, thanks for coming on and hanging out with us. All right, Gary. So I got to put you on the spot here. You have to give us 3 pieces of advice that will help other resellers out to help them grow their business and help them make money. What would be your top 3 tips that you could think of off the top of your head to help them out?
For me, with the resale arbitrage, don't just buy the stuff because it's super cheap. Usually for me, it's super cheap for a reason. So watch what you're doing with that. When you're doing the video games, watch out for fake games. They're out there, especially cartridge stuff. And I'm not going to say don't do what I did, but don't do what I did and end up with 3 storage buildings and like 3,500 games sitting on hand, and then try to go out and get a whole bunch more stuff because you feel like you never catch up.
Well, I there's people that are either on Team Death Pile or not on Team Death Pile. I don't see there's nothing wrong with having merchandise on hand, a backstock merchandise on hand of stuff that you can list, because let's say, it's a Saturday or Sunday or it's raining outside, you don't feel like going out looking for merchandise. If you have a backlog of inventory and say, hey, I have 100 or 1,000 items just sitting here, and I could be cranking out listings without having to drive all around the city looking for merchandise. So I don't really see there's nothing wrong with that. And especially last year in 2020 when we had that big lockdown, but a lot of people were glad they had a backstock of inventory that they could list when everything was shut down. So for sure.
Yeah.
So what is your plans going into Q4 right now? Do you have any major plans? You're going to try to get some more stuff listed and make some more sales, but do you have any particular strategies or anything going on for Q4?
So we've picked up like a whole bunch of Christmas type stuff, new ornaments and things like that from these freebie places. So my wife is doing those, and I've been switching back. We've been taking turns on like coats and stuff like that, coats, boots, and then I'm working on the game. So I'm trying to get part of that half of Christmas side done, the stuff that people are going to play with, and she's working more on the ornaments and the lights and wreaths and stuff like that. So we're trying to cover both sides at the same time, and then somewhat meet in the middle with the boots. And I've got cases of jackets and all kinds of stuff that it's cold everywhere but here. So for me, those are taking up a lot of space, and I'd rather get them out to somebody that can use them somewhere else.
Yeah, eBliss Reseller Solution says ATL Flipper was asking about the Wii's. I can't believe how they popped in prices once again. We have about 50 consoles. Blow them out. Yeah, I was saying the same thing, guys. Is right now we're in Q4 right now, and we just had Halloween coming up around the corner. Is going to be Thanksgiving, then Christmas. So if you have stuff laying around, some video games or electronics and stuff like that, video game consoles, just get them listed now. And you can price them up high and then take offers. And if they don't give you what you want for it, just decline their offer and hang on to it. But right now, with Q4 coming up, with Christmas around the corner, some of these prices are going to be spiked. So I would go ahead and get them listed. Hollywood Reseller says a few things that you hate about reselling and a few things you love about reselling.
I mean, not really anything that I hate about it. I guess cleaning things up. Let's go with that, because we don't always get new stuff or things that are in good condition. We go to farm sales. I've sold like old galvanized 4-gallon mop buckets with the old ringers, old full metal sets, and I'll ship those all over. But someone's got to clean them up. They sell for good money, but I still got to clean them. So cleaning the stuff up, cleaning the shoes probably is just time consuming. Other than that, I like hearing that ching when something sells. It could be a $5 item or a $400 item. I hear that ching, especially if we're out somewhere and people are like looking around to see what was that sound, because they don't know what it is. Everyone knows the offer up sound, but I just like going out and hearing that ching. That's the best part.
For sure. Cherry Picker Flipper is here. Says, hey, how many items are you selling per day or per week? So do you want to talk about that? Gary just recently switched over from leaving his corporate job to being a full-time reseller. Like you just switched over recently, right?
April 28th is when I made the switch, but let's say technically still part-time, because I was remodeling bathrooms at the house and setting up storage, but now full-time dedicated. Yeah.
So how many items would you say you sell per day or per week?
It depends, because I haven't been just listing games, and games sell. For me, I can sell games the same day I list them all the time. But we've been selling all kinds of just everything else that's sitting around here too. This week hasn't been that great. Today, I think we've sold 1 item so far, and then 2 hats on Mercari. So 3 today. Last week, I think we did around 75 to 80 items, all different prices. So it just really depends on what we're listing and how much we're listing on that promoted thing. I did 1% just to try it out, and it helped a lot. Yesterday I ramped it up to 3% on everything that we had to see if that would increase.
Yeah, I've been doing 1%, but then I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and somebody told me that if you increase your promoted listings to 5%, that your items will start showing up in the Google search. I haven't experimented with that yet. I haven't tried it out. So I'm gonna have to do more research, but that's just what I was told from another reseller. Anyways, so Gary, tell everybody where they can go by and check you out at, so they can follow you on YouTube and Instagram. I have all your links in the description down below, but let them know where they can go by and check you out.
We've got our Instagram page, Rampage Reseller. Same with YouTube, Rampage Reseller. Our eBay store is Arizona Resellers, with an S on the end. We've got the whole thing set up. When I did this, I went all in. So we even have like a merch line that we've bought stuff for ourselves, pretty much. It's cheaper than going somewhere and having it made. But that's rampagereseller.com. Just keep checking back on the YouTube channel. I've almost got a video done. I stopped editing it for this, but I've probably it'll be up tomorrow, because we've got stuff to do today to let it load. You know how it works. But just come back and check. I don't really do the yard sale videos of going to people's houses, but I do like the how-to videos, like how to build your storage shelving super cheap, so that people that are just starting out, that ain't got the money, or are worried about dumping a lot of money, hey, you can do this at a pallets. You can do this. Like we build ours, it holds 26 tubs and most of our boxes for $23. So it can be done. It can be done cheap. So, I mean, just check back because you never know what we're going to have or what kind of videos. We do auctions from time to time. We've got one with Cajun Roots Reseller this Friday for his TGIF. And then we're going helping with Cali Reseller Luis for that Toys for Tots-a-thon. As far as I know, I think we're on 1, maybe 2 days for that.
Yep. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I think I saw you a couple weeks ago. You were on the Cali Reseller Luis. So, hey, guys, I have all of his links down below if you guys want to go follow him on YouTube and Instagram, Gary, the Rampage Reseller. So, hey, Gary, do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom you can leave our audience with, and then we'll let you go, man?
Guys, just try to be consistent on that listing. It does make a difference. I know, like, I hear it from, I'll watch whoever the big people or whoever, you got to be consistent, and you do. And I have noticed that since we went from when we had time, a few items a day to 25 plus items a day, that sales have picked up. It's not just a matter of I'm listing more stuff and that stuff is selling. My older stuff is selling that's been on there for a while that nobody had any interest in. So just you got to be on top of it. Stay on top of it. Keep listing, keep selling. If you guys have video game questions for me, I mean, my email I'm sure is down there. Email me and ask me, hit me up on Instagram and I'll try to help.
Right. Okay, awesome. So, hey, I will see you guys on Friday. I have Resale Heroes are going to be here on Friday. And last month he did $20,000 in sales just on eBay alone, and he's all the way from Canada. So, if you guys want to come back and hang out with us on Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, I'll see you then. Till then, you guys have a great day, and you go ahead and follow our guest, Gary, the Rampage Reseller. His YouTube and Instagram links are in the description down below. You guys have a great day. We'll catch you on Friday. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.